If you care about something or someone, then really give a fuck about it. 10 toes down. If you know you really care, really show up like you give a fuck, talk like you give a fuck. But if you know deep down in your spirit, in your heart of hearts, hey, I really don't care about this. This is really not in my top 5 or my top 10s of things that I care about. Then don't give a fuck about it. Really starve it of your energy. And one thing that I've noticed, you could be talking about things that you don't give a fuck about all day, and that just lets me know that you're lying to yourself. You definitely give a fuck, because if you didn't, why are we talking about this? And I liked it. Hola, welcome to the I Like That podcast. I am your host, Shani Billion. How goes it? How you doing? How you doing? So today we are talking about the subtle art of not giving a fuck. The subtle art of not giving up. The subtle art of not giving a F. I read this book from, let me not lie, I was going to say cover to cover, but I listened to the free audiobook on YouTube, not going to lie. I did, and if it's still on there, I will include it in the description, as you know I will. But this book really changed my perception about negative occurrences, negative situations. Um, Especially the reference to, what's his name? Hold on. Charles Bukowski. Bukowski. If I'm pronouncing your name wrong, I'm sorry, sir. This man ended up being a very successful author, but his life, he wasn't part of the 5 a.m. club. He wasn't a person that was always going to say nice things to you. He was an alcoholic. He was addicted to prostitution. He had a lot going on in his life, but he was still very successful in his career. He was a very successful artist. Manson really wanted to highlight, like, look, I know that there is this jargon about positivity and how necessary it is in order for you to win and in order for you to have a successful life. But there are people who are succeeding in areas of their life and they're not the most positive, and they have a lot of shit going on. So that really gave me help in helping me take the mask off of people pleasing. Ooh, taking the mask off of people pleasing, thinking that you have to be this positive person all the time, thinking that you have to be this person who caters to everybody all the time, thinking that you have to be nice to everybody all the time. That's not real. Not only is it not real, it's not necessary. Even Jesus wasn't nice to everybody all the time. Jesus will tell you about yourself. Jesus will tell you about yourself. So getting out of that mindset and understanding, like, look, I have things that I'm working on in my life. I have things that, you know what I'm saying, I got to go to my prayer closet about. You're going to have to do the same. Other people in your life, they're going to have to do the same. And it's not my responsibility for me to cater all of this buttery, nice shit all the time. That's not real life. And that doesn't equate to success. It doesn't. Because if being nice equated to success, what the hell was Charles Bukowski doing successful? They say that this man would go and have readings, and he would stand on he would stand on stage and just he would stand on the stage and just talk about people. Just be rude to people. He ain't even talk about the book. Just drunk on stage, just being rude to people. You here. Huh? Sold thousands of copies. Sold thousands of copies in his book. And that really brought me to, do a little bit more research in that finding. So I recently did a piece on my Substack, which I will include in the description. I recently did a piece on my Substack in regards to how sometimes we forget how important how important the negative situations and circumstances are in order for us to reach positivity. And Mark Manson also mentioned a quote: "Negative is the pathway to positivity." And I watched him do his own breakdown of his own book, and he said something very, like, it really hit home for me. And he was like, "Is it worth struggling for? Is it worth you working for? Is it worth the sacrifice of friendships, time, money, security? Is it worth it?" And when I think of that, I think about this pod in itself. I'm gonna tell a little bit of my business. Tell a little bit of my business. Right now, as you can see, we're recording outside. If you go back and look at some of the old pods that I did, I was in a home, and I had a nice little setup, and I was able to use my mic, and you know what I'm saying, my Lewitt 440. I was able to use my 440 pure mic, and now we outside, and I'm using my $4 mic that I got off TikTok Shop. Hey, sir. And I'm using my $4 TikTok Shop mic because I have to use what I have. Is it worth the struggle? Is it worth me getting up and coming outside? Is it worth me putting myself in a place of, like, okay, when people walk by, they can see what I'm doing. People walk by, they kind of staring at me. When the kids are outside, I'm in the playground, they can see me out here. They come up to me like, what the hell are you out here doing? Is it worth it for me? Is it worth it for me to put myself out here? And the answer is yes. It is worth the struggle. It's worth the struggle for me. It is something that is important to me. It is something that means something to me. So I'm going to take the necessary steps to get it done and to do it. And I believe that that is what he's saying. Like, that negative feeling of, like, I got to go outside and record to record my pod. I got to go outside. I got to use my $4 mic when I got, over $1,000 worth of equipment in the house, because of the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, am I just gonna sit there and, like, damn, I wish I could use my equipment, or am I gonna use what I got? You're gonna use what you got. And sometimes I feel like we forget in referring back to something. You can see the shadow right here. Let me see if I can fix it. If not, we're gonna go with the flow. Let me see if I can. Okay, we gotta adjust it because the shadow was driving me crazy. At least now it's behind me and not on me. Hold on. Okay, yeah, we're gonna keep it right here for a minute. So yeah, referring back to the Substack, I talked about sometimes we forget how important the struggle is. How important the struggle is, and how important negative occurrences are. A lot of times, a lot of life coaches and, a lot of people speak about negative situations and occurrences as something to avoid, or, or something that is a low vibration. But what I've come to terms with, Manson brought to my attention, is that a lot of times those negative situations and circumstances shed light on parts of your life that need your attention. It's like a big spotlight. Like, it's just like, yo, I need for you to look at this. It could be in your love life. Like, you keep going in a cycle with somebody, you keep choosing the same type of person over and over and over again, and you keep getting your feelings hurt over and over and over again. And it hurts. It hurts. It feels like it's a low vibration situation. That's life shedding light on a part of you that needs your attention. Like, yo, there's something that you are doing. There is a habit that you have, that you need to tweak, that you need to change, that no longer works. And even in failing in building your career, like, you get told so many no's. So many no's. I just read, and this is a little sidebar. I know we talking about this on Not Giving a Fuck, but I just read a little bit out of Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it said that, wait, let me make sure I get it right. Losers are afraid of failure. but it is failure that creates winners. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but it's along those lines. It's how you lose, how you manage the way that you lose will determine whether you win or not. When life shines that light on parts of you that need your attention, you can either fold, you can go against it, or you can say, you know what? Let me look at this. Let me look this dead in the eyes. Let me confront this so that I can make a change that will ultimately open new doors and opportunities for me and for people that's associated with you, your kids, your husband, your wife. So yes, this book really opened that door for me, and I've been hearing that a lot lately. I've been seeing the synchronicities. I've been seeing the synchronicities is how you lose in negative situations, negative circumstances. Yeah, they feel like shit, but they're very necessary for you to win. If nobody told you. Look at my hair. Don't judge me. Look at it. Look at it. Don't be too hard on me, okay? Let's keep going. Another bar. If you care about something or someone, then really give a fuck about it. 10 toes down. If you know you really care, really give a fuck. Show up like you give a fuck, talk like you give a fuck. But if you know deep down in your spirit, in your heart of hearts, hey, I really don't care about this. This is really not in my top 5 or my top 10s of things that I care about. Then don't give a fuck about it. Really starve it of your energy. And one thing that I've noticed, you could be talking about things that you don't give a fuck about all day, and that just lets me know that you're lying to yourself. You definitely give a fuck, because if you didn't, why are we talking about this? This is a waste of time. This is a waste of your time. And I have to catch myself. If I really don't care about something, let's not keep talking about it. Let's not keep feeding it. Because if, I'm lying to myself. Oh, it turns out I really do kind of care about this more than I thought I did. Let's look at it in the eyes. Let's confront it. Another bar from The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck that he really dropped in. Also, this was a part of his breakdown of his own book. He talked about caring about what people think. Remember we just talked about earlier, like, look, if you, is it worth your suffering? You know, the example of me being out here outside, in the open of in the day, the sun is up high in the sky, the kids are outside, people walking by looking at me like, what the hell is she over there doing? If I cared too much what people thought about me, I wouldn't take the risk and be out here. If I really didn't care about my pod, if I really didn't care about the message that's in me, if I really didn't care about me sharing my different takes on these amazing authors and this amazing literature and these amazing podcasters, these amazing, if I really didn't give a fuck about sharing, if it really wasn't a burning inside of me, I would let the thoughts of others stop me. And the bar is, the problem is not that you care what people think about you. The problem is that you don't have anything else to give a fuck about. The problem would not be that I care what people think about me. The problem would be is that I don't care enough about what I'm doing to the point where they're stopping me. You get what I'm saying? You get what he's saying? You caring about what other people thinking about you is outweighing your true desires, your true gifts. If you put them on a seesaw, what people think and what you actually desire and what you actually want, what people think got your shit up in the air. Got your shit off the ground. Feet dangling. Your passions, feet dangling. You letting you know what I'm saying? You letting them come snatch that from you. I don't know who, I don't know who you did. I know we not, I know you're not going I know you're gonna let them talk you out of what? And the thing is, you cared about what people thinking about you, and a lot of times people are so absorbed in their own life People are so focused on what they have going on. You think that they really like looking and caring, and they really don't. It's really be all in your head. And again, a lot of times you get into a situation, you feel like people are looking at you and what you're doing, and they don't agree, or they think what you're doing is dumb, or they don't believe in what you're doing. That's fine. Everybody's not going to believe in what you do. Is what you do worth your struggle? Make the choice. Let's keep going. And another quote. That quote is, being happy all the time goes against human genetics. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Um, you're gonna be happy all the time. There's no way. And in no area of your life. He also like gave the reference of being in a relationship with somebody. You're in a relationship with somebody and y'all really trust each other. You know, y'all really, that's your rock. That's your rock, that's your partner in life. Y'all not gonna always agree. Y'all not gonna always be happy pappy. Sometimes you're gonna have to get 80%. Sometimes it's gonna be 50%. Sometimes y'all gonna have to meet each other in the middle. Sometimes you're gonna have to go a little bit more. Sometimes they're gonna have to come a little bit more. But it's not that y'all are never gonna argue. And it's not that y'all don't love each other. All of these things are normal and natural ways of the human experience. You're not gonna be happy all the time. You will feel like shit. You will have periods and seasons of feeling like shit. I just raise my hand. You have periods and look at this little curl right here. Like I put the flexi rod in, and it's just looser than all the other curls, and I keep trying to tuck it behind my ear, and it's driving me crazy. I just thought I'd let y'all know that that's what's going on with that. But yeah, you will have seasons of feeling like shit. I kind of like Jerome a little bit, a little bit. I kind of it's giving Jerome ever so slightly, ever so slightly. Anyway, you have periods of feeling like shit. You have times in your life where you go a couple days feeling like shit, feeling like you just need to sleep. And sometimes you get into your head about needing to sleep. You feeling bad about feeling bad about feeling bad. You're feeling sad about feeling mad about feeling bad. Sometimes you go through these times. Sometimes you go through these places. And I don't know what you believe in. And I don't know, I'm somehow, I don't know what you do. But getting in your word, getting in your meditation closet, speaking life into yourself, it helps. Even if you still feeling like shit when you say it. It's that flex of that muscle. It's that flex of that muscle. But to think that you're never gonna feel like shit is not part of it. That's not real. That's not real with yourself, and that's not real with any type of connection that you will have with someone else. It's not always gonna be on the up, 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 up. Ask any best friends that's been best friends for more than 2-3 years. Have they got into it? Yes. 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 Any couple that's been married or that's been together for years, have they got into it? Yes. Think about how much you love your mama. Think about how much you love your father, your daddy. Are there times where you wanted to? Yes. Love them no less. Same goes for anything that you are reaching for in life. Career wise, financially, all that shit. Ups, downs, waves, waves, waves. This is a little quote that I put in because he did mention that a lot of life coaches and a lot of people, and there's a lot of jargon, a lot of talk about special. There's some special people in this world. There's some special people. There's some special people. I do believe that, you know what? Let me say this. I do believe that there are people who are touched in different areas in life, a talent. But I believe that everybody has their own. I do. So the quote is, and I paraphrase this quote is, everybody is special, therefore no one is. And I think I got that off The Incredibles. Yeah. Yeah, I got that off Incredibles. Everyone is special, therefore no one is. Everything that you, and this will keep you from being a hater. This will keep you from being a hater. And when you see somebody doing something that you like, or you see somebody doing something that you find it interesting, or that you just like it, or they look good, or they killing it, they doing that shit. This will keep you from being a hater. What's in them is also in me. Not necessarily exactly what they're doing, not exactly the talent, but the drive to go after something and do something, the suffering that I can endure for me to get to where I'm going, I also can get that fire going inside of me. I just have to make the decision whether or not it's important or not. That's the only difference. Like we just said earlier, winners know how to manage losing, not being afraid to lose, not being afraid to look silly, not being afraid to be embarrassed, not being afraid. It's the only difference. Once you decide, like, yo, I see you, I like what you're doing, I got this TV show that I've been working on, or I have this script that I've been working on, I've been thinking about, it's been in my head, I've been thinking about it for years. I'm gonna start doing my shit. Once you start doing your shit and you get to getting a bunch of doors closed on you, or you getting people laughing at you, or people not believing in you, and you start building up your own momentum, people gonna start looking at you the same way that you was looking at that person. You know what I'm saying? That got you in the game. That got you started. So if you're looking at me thinking, oh, Shawnee really doing her shit, I'm gonna start my pod. Now you got another person. Oh, Shantae doing her shit. I'm finna start my pod. It's infectious. And that's how you keep yourself from being a hater. Understanding that everybody is special, therefore no one is. And maybe your pod won't do numbers like my pod. Or maybe my pod won't do numbers like Mel Robbins' pod is doing. But I love what I do. And that also plays a role in what is success to you. What's your version of success? Because Shawnee can hop on the pod, talk about my books with my curls and my lip gloss, turn my phone off and go chill with my family, eat good with my family, turn on some music, dance with my family, and feel successful. Yes, I have goals. Yes, I have, different little, goals I've set for myself and different habits I put in place and parallel those goals, all that good shit. But end of the day, middle of the day, beginning of the day, success is I got up, I did what I said I was going to do. I gave it the best. Give it your best. Turn this camera off. I got people that I love. I got people that love me that I can celebrate my day with. Mwah. What is success to you? Don't be a hater. The way and the way to do that is to know that they doing that shit. You can do that shit. You can start your shoe brand. You can start your clothing brand. You can start doing hair. You can start your teeth whitening company. You can buy that. You can buy that multifamily home. You can get your credit in order. You can grow your edges back. You can do it. You can do it. Let's keep going. You're always choosing. That's another bar from The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. You're always choosing. Just like we said, we had a free will. Nobody's gonna force you to do shit. Nobody's gonna force. And that's the thing about being an entrepreneur. That's the thing about going after a dream. That's the thing. When you decide that you're gonna do something, you have to decide and choose that shit every day. You got a job. If you don't go to that job, they're gonna fire your ass. They tell you what time to be there, what time you can leave, what time you can go eat, where you need to be, who you need to call. You know what I'm saying? And how much money you gonna make. It's a security there. You got people checking on you, checking in. You don't show up to work, they calling you. Hey, where the hell you at? It's not like that with a dream. It's not like that with being an entrepreneur. It's not like that when choosing to go after something that you don't even see a lane for that shit yet. It's not like that. Your wake up call is you. The person that check you is you. Your habits is your boss. Your habits is your boss. And you got to choose every single day to go after it, to keep suffering for it, to make the sacrifices for it, to celebrate your small wins, to see yourself as somebody who can win by losing. You have to choose. It is a decision that only you can make. Let me tell my business a little bit. I used to sing all the time when I was a little girl, and my daddy, he saw, oh, my daughter, she could sing. So every family function, come sing, come sing, come sing, come sing. And I hated it. I hated it. And I didn't know why I hated it. I thought it was because, I'm just shy. I don't want people looking at me. I'm just shy. But the reason that I hated it was because it wasn't my decision. Somebody else was making me do something, and my daddy, my baby can say, I want you to, stop being scary. And it worked in my benefit. It did. But my daddy, stop being scary. You got a talent you can't handle. So why are you trying to hide your talent under a bushel? Why are you trying to hide your light under a bushel? That's how my daddy felt about it. You can sing. Why are you trying to hide it? But it was me who just, I wanted it to be my decision. And what comes with it being your decision is that you have to keep choosing. You have to keep choosing what you're going to focus on. You have to keep choosing what you're going to give your attention. You have to keep choosing to either let the failure turn you into a loser or let the failure turn you into a better winner. It's a choice. Another thing, everything that you think is true and important today, you might not give a fuck about it tomorrow. And it may not be true tomorrow. You may have said that shit back in 2017, and now you looking at it like, what? I don't even know what I don't even know who that is. I don't even know who that person is that would say some shit like that. And that's why I think it's so weird that people go back and pull up people's old tweets and stuff from 2018 and 2015. Like, are you crazy? I'm not who I was 3 months ago, let alone 2017. But this is just to say, we all have these opinions in us, and we all have these ways about us, and we all have, you be super passionate about what you feel to be true for you. It doesn't necessarily make it true for everyone else. And it's not to say that you have to be married to your opinions. As we grow and as we learn, we are constantly evolving as individuals and humanity in general. As we can see, technology is booming and things are changing, and we can do things at a faster pace. Like, literally, I can sit outside and record podcasts. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can sit outside and, I don't need a team or an agent, or like, I'm just really out here, by myself, me, the sun, the grass, my phone, and a stand, and a $4 mic, and, composition book. As we grow and as technology changes, like, shit that we used to think and shit that we used to say and the way that we used to go about things, it's not going to be true forever. A lot of things. Some things, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes I feel like we get married to old identities and we don't know how to let go because we don't want to come off as a fake person, because you once was very passionate about this way of living. You once was very passionate about, this thought process or the way that you handle situations. You once were very passionate about it. You once told somebody you might die about that shit. But now you're kind of looking at it like, yeah, this is dumb and I don't believe that anymore. And now you kind of feeling conflicted inside because you don't really know how to handle it, or you don't really know how people gonna see you. Because you don't really even know how you see you. You just know that you don't identify with how you used to see you. You are not gonna say the same. And again, this may be one of those quotes that I say that I might have to go back and be like, yeah, I don't really believe that no more, but I'm gonna say it. I feel like anybody that stays the same their whole life has missed out on a lot. I do. I feel like anybody that stays the same, just the same, no change, no that, has missed out on a lot. And again, that is my opinion. That person may be very happy with who they are. The person may be living their best life. Like, yeah, fuck you. I stayed the same my whole life. I stayed on the same block my whole life. And I'm living the dream. So mind your business. Hey. But I said what I said. I said what I said. So it's okay. And so if nobody told you it's okay that you don't feel the way that you felt 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 2 months ago, 2 weeks ago. I don't feel the same. It's part of life and it's beautiful. And and then as we touched on that Charles Manson, he dropped another gem. And that gem is, the more something threatens your identity, the more you try to avoid it. Ooh. The more something threatens your identity, the more you try to avoid it. I will say that this was me. This was me. This was me. A lot of this is me. I don't say I ain't talking with passion just because I like to talk. Well, kind of, but I will say that was me. When something threatened my identity, I would get quiet about it. When something threatened my identity, I would not talk about it. I'd turn away from it. When it threatened my identity, when I stopped being a people pleaser and I felt myself getting angry in situations, and it would just the fuck you or what'd you say or the I want to like the rebuttals would just be coming out of me. And it would make me be like, yo, well, I don't really know who Shorty is no more. She not really. I used to be able to just, let it ride, let it slide, and I still let it lie, let it lie ride and slide because not a lot. Everything doesn't deserve your energy. But when I started rebuttaling and I started voicing my opinion and I started being able to say no, it's like the no's would be falling out of my mouth. The rebuttals would be falling out of my mouth because I turned away from people pleasing, and it made me kind of want to stay away from people because it threatened who I was. And when I could feel the energy like of people kind of looking at me different, like I don't know who this bitch is no more. She used to be this, and she used to be this way, and I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of feeling the same way. I used to be this way. I don't really know what's going on. I don't know. All I know is that it- the silencer is off. You can hear my pow pows, and it's not a lot. It's not a lot. But you can hear the pow pows. And even in religion for a long time, I even did a post about this. For a long time, I didn't want to do anything religious. I didn't. I didn't want to do anything religious. I didn't want to talk about Jesus. I didn't want to talk about church. I didn't want to see a church. I didn't want to go to church. But then I started being convicted. I started having different feelings about it and wanting to turn back and wanting to go back and feeling this calling and this longing to go. So as it threatened my identity of this person that is just like, no, I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. Now I'm feeling like, okay, yeah, still that, but there is an interest here. There's is something that there's a calling here, and I need to answer. When it started to threaten my identity, it got quiet. I wanted to draw back. I didn't really want to speak on it. I didn't really want to admit that to myself. Like, hey, this is something that I want to revisit in my life, even though I was so, you know, we ain't doing that. I ain't. If I'm gonna find God, I'm gonna find God by myself. I don't need no church. Ultimately, this is a side note, but ultimately, I'm really glad that God let me do that. I am really glad God let me do that. I got two questions I'm asking. You know what? Before we do the questions, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna talk about, and I've already included the clip of this particular post that I did about losing my friend because at the end of the book, Charles Manson talks about losing a good friend. His friend died at a party, and he mentioned how losing that friend taught him how to live. And taught him how to live is just reminding him that we're all gonna die. And when somebody around you, your loved ones, people that are close to you that are part of your everyday living and they just gone, it can eat you up and it can devour you, or it can remind you you still have life to live. And as you can see, tomorrow is not promised. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna choose? And I put a clip about losing my best friend, and the last post that we did, the last episode that we did really went into detail about that. And it I went, like I said, you go through the stages of grief and losing people, but don't forget to live your life, especially when you see how much is not promised, and that we here for a good time, not a long time. Enjoy yourself, enjoy the people around you. If you really give a fuck about somebody, if you really give a fuck about your dream, if you really give a fuck about your desires, if you really give a fuck, then show yourself that you really give a fuck, and let that give a fuck about that particular person, thing, or dream outweigh the thoughts and opinions of other people. Let it outweigh all of those no's that you're gonna get, and understand that you're gonna get some no's. You're going to get some no's. You're going to feel like shit. You're not going to feel good all the time. Is it worth struggling for? The answer is yes. Yes. Not all the time. Sometimes it's not. The decision is yours. The two questions that we have is, what if I'm wrong? I'm this opinionated person. I have all of this opinions about being a super positive person. What if I'm wrong? What if it's better to lean into your negative situations? What if it's better to allow life to shine light on certain areas of your life that require some attention? What if I'm wrong? The second question, what would it mean if I'm wrong? That would mean that I am a human. That would mean that I can be curious. That would mean that I have the opportunity to test the hypothesis. That would mean that I have a new opportunity to test the hypothesis. That would mean I have failed my way into a win because I see it as an opportunity. What would that mean for you? I got homework for you. Write those two questions down, and it's in regards to anything, a relationship, a business, whatever. What if I'm wrong? What if there is a group of people that are looking for my company? What if my podcast does very well? What if my podcast does do Mel Robbins numbers? What if my business does do well in 2 months, in 2 years, in 3 years? What if I'm wrong? And what would that mean if I'm wrong? What would it mean? What would it mean? What would it mean? Anyway, I'm gonna gas you up. I'm gonna gas you up. Oh, I'm sitting a little funny. This grass is a little wet. My booty is very wet. It is. It's soggy. It's wet. Okay. Let me gas you up. Let me gas you up. Let me gas you up. You are looking at the spotlight that life is putting on different areas of your life that is causing you pain and suffering. You looking at it deep in his eyes and making necessary changes to get and be better. And I like that. You understand that life is a wave. There are ups and there are downs, and they both are for your highest good. You know that. You know that. And I like that. You are forever and always seeking wisdom. Wisdom is your partner in life. And I like that. Mm, 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 mm. If it's something that you really care about, someone that you really care about, you walk, talk, and act like you really give a fuck. And I like that. If it's something in your life that you don't care about, don't mean good, you just entertaining, you are now making the decision to starve it of your energy and not give a fuck about it. And I like that. You lean in to the possibility of you being wrong and allow yourself to test the hypothesis. You lose like a winner. And that's why you're not a fucking loser. And I like that. I like that. You know, you know that there is no winner that has never lost. And I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that. You in your prayer closet, you in your meditation closet. And I like that. You just tuned into another episode of I Like That podcast. And I like that. I like that. I'm gonna leave you with my favorite affirmation, and that affirmation is everything is always working out for my good, no matter how it looks at any point in time. I said everything is always working out for my highest good, no matter how it looks, no matter how it feels at any point in time. Thank y'all so much. Love you so much. Be well. Be well. Bye.
And I like that.